Welcome to Escalating Stories, a place where faith meets real life, and every story carries a message of hope. Here, we don't just tell stories, we tell heart journeys. Stories that remind you that even in pain, God still writes purpose. Whether it's love, forgiveness, patience, or redemption, every episode is crafted to touch your soul, strengthen your faith, and remind you that you're never alone. Love can start beautifully, with laughter, promises, and dreams that seem unshakable. But as time passes, what once felt effortless can begin to fade if understanding is missing. Compatibility is not about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone whose heart can walk in rhythm with yours, even through life's imperfect moments. In love, harmony is not discovered by accident. It's built through patience, prayer, and understanding. So take a deep breath and stay a while. Let these stories speak to your heart, inspire your walk with God, and remind you that His grace can turn even broken chapters into beautiful endings. You always listen so deeply, Ethan. It's like you don't just hear my words, you hear my heart.
Maybe because your heart speaks louder than your voice. Every time you talk about your dreams, I can feel the sincerity behind your eyes.
You know, I wasn't even supposed to be here today. My friend canceled on me at the last minute, and I almost didn't come. But now, sitting here with you, I'm beginning to think maybe the change of plans wasn't a coincidence.
I don't believe in accidents either. Sometimes God interrupts our plans just to lead us to the right place, or the right person.
Do you ever just feel like something is right, even before you fully understand why?
All the time. Maybe that's faith, trusting that the beginning of something good doesn't need all the answers yet.
Ethan, look at this. I've been refining my designs all week. If everything goes well, I can finally launch my fashion brand before the year ends. I can already picture it, the colors, the collections, the models, the runway. It feels like my dream is finally coming alive.
That's wonderful, Lydia. You've always had an eye for beauty and creativity. I'm proud of how far you've come.
What about you? You've been spending a lot of time reading and writing lately. What's on your mind?
Actually, I've been praying a lot. And I believe God is leading me to step into full-time ministry soon. It's something I've felt stirring in my spirit for a while now.
Ministry? Like leaving your job?
Yes. I want to dedicate my time fully to serving, teaching, helping young people, spreading God's word. I know it won't be easy, but I trust that if it's God's will, He'll provide.
But Ethan, what about our bills? Our plans? You know how much we've been saving to move into a better apartment. If you stop working, how will we manage all that?
I know your concern, Lydia. And I understand it. But sometimes obedience comes before understanding. I just feel this is where my heart belongs.
I'm not against ministry, Ethan. You know I love God too. But can't you do both? Work and serve. You don't have to give up everything at once.
Some callings require sacrifice. I can't give half of myself to something God is asking for fully.
When goals move in different directions, even love feels heavy. They both wanted to honor God, but their paths began to stretch apart, one chasing vision, the other chasing stability. In moments like this, love doesn't fade overnight. It simply begins to lose its rhythm. Ethan, we can't keep doing this. You always talk about patience and prayer, But what about action? What about actually doing something?
Lydia, prayer is action. Every time we pray, we're inviting God to move. Sometimes faith means standing still when everything inside you wants to rush ahead.
Standing still? Ethan, the rent is due in 3 days. The landlord already called twice this week. My suppliers are waiting for payment. I can't keep waiting on promises when reality is staring me in the face.
I understand, Lydia. I do. But you think I don't feel the pressure too? I see the bills. I hear the calls. Yet I can't move ahead of God. If I take a step without His leading, I'll only create more problems.
Ethan, sometimes I feel like you hide behind faith. You talk about trusting God, and I believe in that too, but there is a difference between faith and avoidance. Maybe God wants you to act instead of just wait.
And maybe He's teaching us to depend on Him first. Lydia, every time I kneel in prayer, I'm asking for direction, not escape. I'm not being passive, I'm being patient.
Patience doesn't pay the rent, Ethan. Faith doesn't fill the fridge. I just wish you could see what this waiting is doing to us. Love spoke softly that night, but frustration spoke louder. Their hearts still cared, but their minds wrestled with fear and faith, two forces pulling in opposite directions. In love, silence can be louder than words, and even calm tones can hide deep storms. Chloe, I don't even know where to start. It feels like Ethan and I are living in two different worlds. I'm chasing progress, goals, something tangible. But he's chasing peace, purpose, and patience. And it's like every time I talk about moving forward, he tells me to slow down. I'm trying to build something real, something visible, and he's talking about waiting on God's timing. Sometimes I feel like we're not even walking in the same direction anymore. I know he loves God, and I respect that. But love alone isn't enough when reality keeps knocking at your door. I'm tired of waiting for miracles when what we need are decisions. It's like I'm fighting to make something happen, and he's waiting for something to happen. I don't know how to bridge the gap anymore. Lydia, you know what I've realized? Sometimes, two people can love each other deeply but still have different ways of expressing that love. You're wired to move, to create, to make things happen. Ethan is wired to pause, to listen, to wait for God's whisper. Neither of you is wrong, you're just different. But what happens when those differences start to hurt more than they help? I can't spend the rest of my life feeling like I'm dragging someone who doesn't want to run with me. Maybe it's not about dragging, Lydia. Maybe it's about learning each other's pace. You see, you're both chasing what matters to you most, and that's not a bad thing. But the real question is, can you learn to chase it together? Because love isn't about finding someone who moves like you. It's about learning how to move with them. I used to think love meant finding someone who made life easier. But now I'm starting to see that love sometimes means finding someone who makes life deeper. Exactly. Maybe this isn't a problem to fix, Lydia. Maybe it's a lesson to learn, one that could teach you both what real partnership looks like. In friendship, truth often comes gently, not to condemn, but to clarify. Lydia didn't get the answer she wanted, but she received the one she needed. For love to last, both hearts must learn to walk at the same rhythm, not perfectly, but patiently.
Pastor, I don't even know where to start. Lydia and I, we love each other, but lately, it feels like we're walking in different rhythms. It's as if the same path we used to walk together now has two directions. She's focused on her business dreams, and I'm trying to follow what I believe God is leading me to do. But every time I take a step of faith, it feels like I'm taking a step away from her. She says I'm too slow, too patient, too still. And maybe she's right. Maybe I am. But Pastor, I'm not trying to be lazy, I'm trying to be obedient. I know ministry isn't glamorous. It's not stable, it's not predictable. But I feel such a pull in my spirit to serve full time. Still, I hate seeing her worry. Every time I pray, I ask God to bring us back into alignment, but the more I pray, the further apart we seem to grow. Ethan, love is a lot like music. Sometimes one person hears the melody of faith, while the other is trying to keep up with the rhythm of life. And when both try to lead the song, it can sound like noise instead of harmony. Compatibility isn't about finding someone who matches your every step, it's about learning to walk as one, even when your steps don't look the same. You see, the rhythm of grace is patient. It allows for imperfection. It understands timing. It doesn't demand that one lead and the other follow. It invites both to surrender to God's tempo. So, you're saying maybe I've been trying too hard to make her see things my way instead of asking God to show us His way? Exactly. Grace doesn't force, it teaches. Love doesn't always mean agreement. Sometimes it means endurance. The goal isn't to win the argument, Ethan. It's to preserve the bond. You and Lydia may not move at the same speed, but you can still move in the same direction, if you let God be the one holding the map. Thank you, Pastor. I think I've been trying to make harmony with my own strength instead of letting God tune us both. Then start there. Pray, not for God to change Lydia, but for Him to teach you how to love her better, even in the waiting. When you love with grace, you give God room to work where words cannot.
In the presence of wisdom, Ethan found peace. The words didn't solve everything, but they reminded him of something deeper, that love isn't sustained by emotion or timing, but by grace. And sometimes, grace doesn't change the situation, it changes the heart. Lydia on the phone with her mom. Mom, I don't know how to explain it anymore. Ethan is a good man, kind, thoughtful, prayerful. He really loves me. But sometimes it feels like we're living in two different worlds. I'm chasing goals, plans, and dreams I can touch. And he's chasing peace, purpose, and a future he says only God can reveal in time. It's not that I don't believe him, Mom, it's just that I don't see how it all fits together. My dear, I know you love him. But love alone doesn't build a home. It takes shared vision, two hearts walking in the same direction. When a man's dreams pull one way and a woman's dreams pull another, soon the rope begins to tear. You need more than affection. You need alignment. But Mom, isn't love supposed to conquer all that? I mean, we promised to grow together. Shouldn't understanding come with time? Love conquers, yes, but only when both are willing to fight the same battle. If you're fighting for progress and he's fighting for peace, you'll both grow weary in different ways. I'm not saying he isn't a good man, Lydia. I'm saying, good doesn't always mean right for your journey. So you think love isn't enough? Love is a seed, my dear. But seeds still need the right soil, water, and season to grow. You can love someone deeply and still realize you're not growing together. Find someone who shares your direction, someone who doesn't only understand your heart, but also your pace. I hear you, Mom. It's just hard to imagine walking away from someone who loves you so purely. But maybe love truly needs more than emotion. Maybe it needs agreement. Sometimes, Lydia, love isn't about walking away, it's about waiting until both hearts can walk in the same direction. Pray. Don't decide from pain. Decide from peace. Family love comes with wisdom, sometimes comforting, sometimes confronting. Lydia wanted to believe that love could fix every difference, but her mother's words echoed louder than she expected. Love, she realized, might be the foundation, but direction is the structure that keeps it standing.
Lord, thank you for this day. Even in our misunderstandings, you are still good. Please help us to walk in unity, to see through each other's hearts, and not just our frustrations. Teach me to love her as you love the church, patiently, unconditionally, and without complaint. Lydia. Would you like to pray together before bed?
Ethan, I'm really exhausted tonight. It's been such a long day. Maybe tomorrow, okay?
Sure. Tomorrow? Lord, help her rest tonight. Help me not to lose patience. Draw us close again, even when we seem far apart.
I used to love praying with him. I used to feel safe when we did. But now, every prayer feels like a reminder of how far apart we've grown. Maybe I just need some quiet, maybe he'll understand. When one's spirit hungers and the other's heart wanders, distance grows without a word. Not every separation begins with shouting, sometimes it begins with silence. And sometimes, silence is not the absence of love, but the presence of fatigue, the kind that only grace can heal. Ethan, can we talk about this?
What's wrong? Is it the bills again?
Of course it's the bills. I just got a reminder notice. We're 2 weeks behind on rent, and the power company says they'll disconnect us if we don't pay by Friday.
I know it's been tight lately, but I gave what I had to the church last Sunday. They're raising funds to support that widow who lost her home.
You did what? Ethan, you gave money to church again. When we can barely feed ourselves?
I didn't give it out of carelessness, Lydia. I gave it out of obedience. God put it in my heart to help, and I believe He'll make a way for us too.
Obedience? Ethan, we're drowning in debt. Our rent is due, the bills keep piling up, and you're out there giving away what little we have left, all in the name of faith.
Lydia, I understand how this looks. But I've seen too much of God's faithfulness to start doubting Him now. The same God who provided for us last year, when I lost my job and we thought we'd lose everything, He hasn't changed. I trust Him to provide again.
But faith doesn't pay bills, Ethan. It doesn't stop the landlord from knocking on the door. It doesn't keep the lights on or put food on the table. I'm tired of hearing God will provide while we struggle to survive. I'm not doubting God. I'm just scared. I don't know how much longer I can do this.
I know you're scared. Sometimes I am too. But if we start letting fear lead us, we'll lose the peace that's holding us together. Lydia, faith isn't about ignoring problems, it's about trusting God through them. Even when we can't see how.
Maybe I just wish your kind of faith came with a plan.
I understand. And maybe. My plan is to keep believing, even when believing feels foolish.
When faith and fear share a roof, peace becomes the first casualty. But even in the loudest storms, God listens to hearts that are weary yet willing. Sometimes, the real miracle isn't instant provision, it's the grace to keep trusting when everything looks impossible. The soup's still warm. I thought it would have gone cold by now. It's good. You always cook well. You didn't talk much today.
Neither did you.
I guess. There is not much left to say. Every time we talk, it turns into another argument. So maybe silence is safer.
Maybe. But silence doesn't heal anything either. It just builds walls where love used to live.
I'm just tired, Ethan. Tired of pretending that we're fine. Tired of walking around like strangers who share the same space but not the same peace.
I know. I feel it too, the distance. It's like we're sitting at the same table, but our hearts are eating alone.
I don't want it to be this way. But everything feels like a test lately, every word, every silence. Sometimes, I wonder if love can survive when everything else feels uncertain.
Love survives on truth, Lydia. Not comfort, not money, truth. And the truth is, we've been so busy trying to fix life that we stopped feeding love.
Maybe I've just forgotten how to be happy with little.
And maybe I've forgotten how to show you that faith doesn't mean neglect. It means believing while still working.
Love doesn't die overnight. It fades quietly, through unspoken disappointments, unmet needs, and the weight of unhealed words. But sometimes, in the silence, God whispers, reminding two weary hearts that peace isn't found in avoiding pain, it's found in forgiving through it. You look like someone who's been thinking all day and found no answers. Maybe because the answers I keep finding don't feel like the ones I want. That sounds like a heart talking, not logic. What's going on with you and Ethan? We're trying. But it feels like we're speaking different languages. I talk about business goals, he talks about purpose. I think about savings, he thinks about sewing. It's like our dreams live in two different worlds. And what do you feel when you're with him now? I still love him, Chloe. I really do. But lately, it feels like love is no longer enough. We used to laugh so easily, but now even silence feels heavy. Sometimes, I catch myself wondering if love can survive without understanding. Lydia, love is beautiful, but peace is essential. You can't spend your life fighting the very person you were supposed to rest with. You can love someone deeply and still not fit peacefully beside them. I keep thinking maybe it's just a phase. Maybe if I try harder, if I'm more patient, more prayerful, things will change. Trying harder isn't wrong. But forcing what isn't working can drain the best parts of you. Lydia, compatibility isn't about who makes your heart race, it's about who helps your heart rest. I just don't want to give up on something got started. What if I walk away too soon? What if this is just the storm before peace? Then you pray for clarity, not comfort. If it's from God, it will bring peace, not confusion. Love that's meant to last doesn't constantly make you question your worth or your voice. It builds you, not drains you. So you think I should let go? I think you should stop trying to control what only grace can fix. Step back, breathe, and let God show you if this is love meant to endure, or love meant to teach. Still believe we can make it work. Somehow. Then pray for strength to do your part, and wisdom to know when you've done enough. Don't lose your peace trying to prove love. Peace is what proves love. Sometimes, the hardest truth comes from the softest voices. Love fights, but wisdom listens. For peace is not the absence of love, it's the evidence that love is real.
Lord, I don't even know where to start tonight. My heart is heavy. My mind feels tired. I love her, God, I really do, but I don't know how to reach her anymore. It used to be easy. We laughed together, dreamed together, prayed together. But lately, every conversation feels like walking on glass. Every silence feels like distance. I keep asking myself, what changed? Did I? Did she? Or did we both just stop listening? Lord, I love her. But teach me how to love her right. Not just with words or promises, but with understanding. Show me how to hold her heart without crushing it. How to lead without controlling. How to believe without making her feel unseen. And if we're not meant to walk this road together, please, give me the strength to accept it. Don't let me hold on to something you're asking me to release. I don't want to build what you haven't blessed. I just want to walk in your will, no matter how it hurts. I've seen your hand in every part of my life, in my pain, in my provision, in every closed door that became a blessing later. So I trust you now, even when I don't understand. I don't need a perfect relationship, Lord, I just need peace. And if peace means letting go, help me to do it with grace. Show me the truth, God. Even if it breaks me. Not my will, Lord, but yours be done.
When love meets confusion, prayer becomes the compass. Some answers don't come with words, they come with peace. And sometimes, God doesn't fix what's broken. He strengthens the hearts that hold it.
You've been quiet all morning.
Because I don't even know where to start anymore. Everything between us feels distant. I talk, but I don't feel heard.
And I don't feel understood, Lydia. I try to share my heart, my faith, my purpose, the way I see life, but it feels like the more I open up, the more you pull away.
Because I'm scared, Ethan. Every time you talk about trusting God, I feel small, like my fears make me faithless. Like I'm the weak one in this marriage.
That's not how I see you. I've never thought you were weak. I just want us to see that faith and wisdom can walk together. I don't want to fight you, I just want to walk beside you.
I know you mean well, but sometimes, it feels like we're living in two different worlds. You talk about calling. I talk about stability. You talk about giving. I talk about saving. And somehow, it always ends with both of us feeling wrong.
Maybe that's the problem. We're both trying so hard to be right that we've forgotten how to be one.
I thought love would be enough, Ethan. I thought as long as we loved each other, everything else would fall into place. But it hasn't. And that terrifies me.
Maybe love isn't enough when understanding is missing. Love brings us together, but understanding keeps us there.
Do you ever feel like we're trying to make something work that God might not be building?
I asked him that last night.
And what did he say?
He didn't say much. Just gave me peace. The kind that says, whatever happens, I'm with you.
Maybe we've both been loving each other the way we understand love, not the way the other person needs it.
And maybe we stopped listening somewhere along the way.
Love doesn't always end in anger. Sometimes, it ends in quiet realization that two hearts can care deeply, yet grow differently. And sometimes, love's greatest act is not holding on tighter, but surrendering sooner, to the truth, to grace, and to God's better plan.
I can see the weariness in both of you. Marriage, as beautiful as it is, can sometimes feel like walking through a field of roses with hidden thorns. You start out mesmerized by the beauty, but eventually, the thorns remind you that love is not only about feelings. It's also about growth, sacrifice, and wisdom. Pastor, I still love her deeply. I pray for her every night. I try to understand her, but lately, it feels like everything I do is wrong. I don't want us to drift apart, but I don't know how to hold on when she keeps pulling away. That's honest, Ethan. But love must be more than emotion, it must become understanding. You see, compatibility is not a test of love. It's a test of wisdom. It's about learning how to remain two different people while walking one shared path. Can you both adjust without losing yourselves? That's the heart of maturity in marriage.
Pastor, I'm just tired. It feels like we speak different languages. I want to move faster, to build, to plan, to live with momentum, but Ethan's pace is so calm, so patient. Sometimes it frustrates me because I feel like he doesn't see the urgency of life. And yet, I know he's sincere. It's just we're so different.
Differences don't always destroy love, Lydia. Sometimes they refine it. But if those differences are never acknowledged, Never embraced, they become walls instead of bridges. You both need to stop fighting to be understood and start striving to understand each other. I never wanted to be your delay, Lydia. I only wanted to be your peace. I thought patience was my strength, but maybe it's become your frustration. I can try to meet you halfway, if you'll let me.
I don't know, Ethan. I don't know if I still have the strength to keep trying. It feels like the more we try, the more we realize how far apart we are.
And yet, Lydia, trying is the language of love. The fact that you're both sitting here, still talking, still searching for an answer, that means there's something left worth saving. The question is, will you choose your pride or your peace? Because you can't have both. Let's pray. Not for answers today, but for clarity. For God to show you both whether you're meant to walk together, and if you are, how to do it with grace.
Sometimes, space brings clarity that closeness cannot. When hearts grow silent, distance becomes the mirror where truth finally speaks. They both decide to separate. Why does peace feel so far away, even when I'm free to breathe? I thought space would bring relief, but it's only made the silence louder. I miss his calm, the way he always found light in my chaos. Maybe I was so busy wanting to be understood that I forgot to understand him.
Sometimes love isn't about holding tighter. It's about letting go long enough for God to heal what we couldn't fix by ourselves. Love tested by distance is either purified or broken, and only grace decides which it will be.
I thought love meant constant closeness, but maybe it also means space, enough space to hear God's voice above our own. Maybe Ethan and I weren't falling apart. Maybe we were just being refined. I miss him, but I also see myself more clearly now. And perhaps, that's where true compatibility begins, not in matching perfectly, but in growing individually toward the same light. When hearts are still, God speaks in whispers. In separation, love learns to breathe again, not through emotion, but through revelation. Maybe I loved the idea of him more than his reality. Maybe what I called compatibility was just comfort, the way we laughed, the way he listened, the way his calm steadied my storms. But love is more than moments that feel good. It's about alignment, direction, purpose. We weren't wrong for loving each other. We were just different, two hearts with sincere intentions, moving to rhythms that didn't blend. I wanted the world to see us succeed. He just wanted heaven to be pleased with us. Maybe both desires were beautiful, but not in harmony. It hurts to admit that love can be true yet still not be right for a season. But maybe God allows that, not to punish, but to teach. To teach us that love without understanding feels like dancing to different songs. I thought love meant holding on no matter what. But now, I see that sometimes, love also means letting go, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. We weren't failures. We were lessons, written by grace, understood in time. In reflection, pain becomes perspective. And when the heart finally understands what went wrong, it also begins to see what was right, the growth, the grace, and the peace that followed. He picks up his pen and writes a letter to his wife and he reads it aloud.
Lydia, it's taken me time to think, time to pray, time to understand what our love truly was. You once told me that I listen deeply, that I hear hearts more than words. I hope you can still hear mine now, even from afar. Thank you for teaching me love's courage. You taught me that love isn't always found in agreement, but in patience, in trying, even when trying hurts. You showed me what passion looks like, and I showed you what peace feels like. Maybe that was our purpose in each other's story, to exchange what we lacked, not to complete, but to awaken. I once prayed for forever with you. But now, I simply pray for peace, peace in your heart, peace in your work, peace in the dreams God placed within you. If our paths never cross again, I hope you'll remember this: love was never our failure. It was our classroom. And we both passed, not by staying together, but by growing apart with grace.
End of letter.
Even if we walk separate paths, Lydia, I pray peace follows you. Lord, thank you for her. Thank you for the lessons, the love, and the letting go. May her life be full, not of me, but of you.
Some goodbyes are not endings, they are blessings wrapped in honesty. When love releases with peace, heaven smiles. They met again after a few months. Ethan. It's been a while.
Yes, it has. I didn't expect to see you here today. But somehow, it feels right.
I've spent the past months asking God why we couldn't make it work. I thought maybe love had failed. But the more I prayed, the more I realized it wasn't love that failed, it was me. I stopped listening, stopped trying to understand you.
Lydia, it wasn't just you. I was so focused on being right that I forgot to be kind. I thought faith alone would solve everything, but I neglected the patience, the compromise, the tenderness that faith is built on.
You were patient in your way, Ethan. And I see that now. Maybe I just wasn't ready to walk with the kind of faith you carried. But I've changed. God has been teaching me that love and compatibility aren't opposites. They just need understanding.
You know, I prayed one night asking God to show me if we were still meant to walk this road together. And for months, there was silence. But lately, I've been feeling peace again, the kind of peace that doesn't erase the past but redeems it.
Do you think we could try again? Not from where we stopped, but from where we both started to understand?
That's all I've ever wanted. To love you right this time, not just with emotion, but with understanding, with prayer, and with purpose.
Then let's not rush it. Let's rebuild, slowly, prayerfully. Let's be sure that what we're holding now is God's will, not our fear of being apart.
Agreed. Love isn't about never breaking, it's about learning how to be rebuilt by grace.
I missed your smile.
Then I'll make sure you don't forget it again.
Sometimes God allows separation, not to end love, but to refine it. True compatibility isn't about perfection, it's about two hearts willing to grow together, no matter how many times they must start again. They met again, not as lovers, but as healed hearts. And in that moment, both understood, what was once broken had quietly become beautiful.
Love. Love is one of the most beautiful gifts God ever gave us. It can build, it can heal, it can inspire. But it can also break, not because it is weak, but because when love walks without understanding, it soon limps under the weight of disagreement. My brothers and sisters, the Bible says in Amos 3 verse 3, "Can two walk together, except they be agreed?" That scripture isn't just about friendship, it's about every form of relationship. Agreement is not about always thinking alike. It's about sharing direction, values, and vision. When one heart moves east and the other west, love begins to stretch until it hurts. Love is powerful, yes. But love without agreement becomes painful. You can adore someone deeply, but if your spirits don't align, if your purposes pull in opposite directions, that love will constantly feel like a tug of war. Too many people mistake emotional connection for spiritual agreement. But emotions are like waves, they rise beautifully, but they also fade. What sustains a relationship through the storms of life is alignment. Alignment of faith, of principles, of priorities. That's why marriage isn't just about choosing someone who loves you, but someone who walks with you. Don't just seek hearts that love you, seek hearts that align with you. Because love that aligns will not just feel good, it will last. It will grow in patience, in purpose, and in peace. True compatibility isn't two people who fit perfectly. It's two imperfect people willing to walk in the same divine direction. If love has ever left you broken or confused, don't regret it. Learn from it. Because even heartbreak can be holy when it teaches you to listen to God before you listen to your feelings. Some relationships are lessons, not lifetimes, but they are still part of God's refining grace. So, as you walk forward, don't just ask, who do I love? Ask also, who can I walk with? Because love isn't just about affection, it's about direction.
Love and alignment, two sides of the same coin. One without the other leaves the heart wanting. But when both meet under God's guidance, even the simplest union becomes divine. Love is a beautiful beginning, but without wisdom, even beauty fades. Ethan and Lydia learned that compatibility isn't about finding someone who looks like you, thinks like you, or dreams like you. It's about finding someone willing to grow with you. Someone who listens when words fall short, who prays when strength runs low, and who forgives when pride says walk away. In the end, love was never meant to be flawless, it was meant to be faithful. Wisdom doesn't always change who we love. Sometimes, it changes how we love. Because when two hearts learn harmony, even their differences become a melody that glorifies God. Amos 3 verse 3 - Can two walk together, unless they are agreed? So, walk with those who walk with God. Because when love starts in His presence, it always finds its way home. Thank you for watching Eden Stories, where every story carries faith, hope, and purpose. Your support means the world to us. Remember, every story God writes ends in grace.